When you start out learning to write a screenplay, you're wrestling a lot with not just what to do, but how to do it. And you come across ultimatums, things like don't do this or always do that, and before long you start to notice conflicting information and you just don't know what to do. So let me clarify something for you right off the bat. There are no rules in screenwriting, but there are tools that you use to write a screenplay. And there are expectations for how you use those tools for sure, but if the screenplay is a good story well told, no one cares. But that doesn't mean you get to ignore all the conventions and tools of screenwriting either. It is a bit of a dance. So your first job, your goal as a screenwriter, is to craft a screenplay that is an excellent story and you tell it in the best way that that particular story could be told. That's the finish line. That's heaven for a screenwriter. And to do that, you use the tools you have at your disposal, and you use them in the best possible way to garner that heavenly response from any reader. But the problem comes from two places. First, the screenwriter doesn't understand how the tool actually functions and is consequently misusing the tool, or using the wrong tool, or using the right tool but in an ineffective way. So we could just lump all this into tool misuse. Or second, the screenwriter doesn't understand the type of script that they're writing. So let's take the second one first, and then we'll circle back to the first one second. Unless you're being paid to write a script, so you have signed a contract, money's changed hands, and you've used some to go get that shirt that you've always had your eye on. If that's not you, and more than likely it's not, you are writing a script to be read. You are not writing a script to be shot. That is actually a very different kind of screenplay. There are similarities, yeah, but scripts meant to be shot have a lot more cooks in the kitchen and people giving you notes, and you don't have that. You are writing a script that's meant to be read, and that means that you have to write a screenplay that is a good read. Yes, that good read could make a good movie, but you're writing a script meant to be read. So let's take dialogue for an example. Is it a good idea to try and make your dialogue lyrical, like to make it just sound good? Well, absolutely. No doubt about it. You should definitely be doing that. But do you need to organize table reads to make sure actors don't stumble over the words that you've written and then you go back and change everything? Well, no, it doesn't matter. No one's going to be acting your screenplay anyway, at least not in its current form, because your script is meant to be read, not shot. And so many new writers screw this up and get concerned with things that they shouldn't be, like how actors deliver lines, or camera angles, or camera position, or actor choreography or movement within the scene, like Jana stands here and then she crosses the room to stand over there. Okay, no one cares. The only issue is this: is the story great? Is it well told? Meaning, is it a good read? Your concern then as a screenwriter is on clarity for the reader. You want them tracking with the story and the emotions of the characters in it, and going on an emotional ride themselves. That part is really important. So you've probably heard, don't include camera angles in your script. But most aspiring screenwriters just think that that means camera angles are bad and frowned upon. And yeah, in some circles they are. But here's the thing. Why do you need camera angles in a script that's meant to be read? You don't. Camera angles are in scripts meant to be shot, and usually added by the director anyway. The only time you might need to include them is to help you tell the story. So you're supposed to be using the tools you have at your disposal and using them in the best way possible. And camera angles, they're a tool, one of many. The format is another, exposition another, and you should be using all of those tools to your advantage to tell an effective story. And if you don't know about the tools, I'll tell you what you gotta do in a second, but let me put some legs on this for a moment using camera angles. You can include them. No one's throwing you in screenwriting jail if you write close on or zoom in or push in, if you're using them properly and format them as you should. And most screenwriting software has an automatic format for shots, which is what you'd want. But if I wrote, the shiny doorknob reflects the three travelers. Dirk adjusts his tie, Catherine pops a breath mint, and Zach runs fingers through his hair, getting it just right. They're ready. That's a way more interesting read than close on, doorknob, which reflects the three travelers. Angle on, Dirk, who adjusts his tie. Pan to Catherine, who pops a breath mint. Rack focus on Zach, behind her, who runs fingers through his hair. Wide shot, they are ready to go. I mean, holy cow, is that painful to read. Okay, you're not gonna elicit any emotion out of the reader if you write like that. In the second example, is it technically correct? Well, yeah, it is, but so is the first example. Plus, look at the first example and just think about this. how can you actually show on screen a shiny doorknob reflecting 3 people unless it is a close-up? You can't. So in that first example, I included a camera angle, but I didn't include an actual camera angle. And master screenwriters write the description in such a way that the shots and camera angles are automatically baked in. Plus, it's way shorter and easier to read, and you're writing a script that's meant to be read. And this is one tool of the many that you need to master if you want to be a master screenwriter and actually be cashing checks from the screenplays you've sold or were hired to write. But what if you don't know about the tools? What if you don't know how to write or format VO, for example, or how to handle exposition, or what are some characteristics of a solid transition, or a host of others? And if you don't know, guess what? You gotta learn. You've gotta study screenplays and how they do it. You've gotta find resources. You've gotta put some focused effort into learning the tools. And being just a screenwriter or a master screenwriter is kind of like the difference between being a do-it-yourself repairman and a master carpenter. The DIY guy, he can get the job done. He's got the tools, he's got the hammer and the screwdriver and the putty knife, and he can do it. But the master carpenter doesn't just have those. He's got every size of Allen wrench and drill bit. He understands woods and grains so much that depending on the angle he knows he's going to have to cut the wood, he determines which piece of wood to buy in the first place. But the DIY guy, he just goes to the hardware store and buys what's on top of the shelf. And becoming a master screenwriter is no different. Now, maybe like the DIY guy, you have the basic tool set, and the more screenplays you write, the more tools you acquire for your toolbox. After a while, yeah, you have all the nuanced tools and you know how they work and you know when to use them. That totally happens. It still happens for screenwriters. And you can find success as a screenwriter if you practice long enough and hard enough and learn the things along the way that will help shape you into a master storyteller. Or you can opt to focus your goals and career and become a master screenwriter by investing in yourself. Maybe you buy books, or you go to film school, or you buy camera equipment and you make movies yourself so you know how it works, or you attend seminars or weekend workshops, or you sign up for online classes, or perhaps even find someone who's willing to also invest in you and teach you, coach you to get there faster, much faster than you could on your own. Either way, it's going to cost you something. It's going to cost you time if you're the DIY person, because it's going to take a while. Or it's going to cost you money if you want to fast track accomplishing your goals. There's no shortcut, there's no magic pill, I'm sorry, but one way or another, you have to learn the tools, and you have to learn how to use them properly for maximum benefit for a reader, because you're writing a script that's meant to be read. If you'd like my help to learn the tools, you should check out the Fast Track, which is linked below. It's not free, but it will get you where you want to go faster. And there's different levels, so you can find the one that best suits you. But that makes it the Fast Track. It's the Fast Track course. But if you want to go at your own and keep it free, that's totally cool. You can learn about another tool of screenwriting by watching this. If you found value, fun buttons, there are links below for the Fast Track if you want to learn all about the tools of screenwriting. And when you tell a story that's meant to be read, tell a story that matters. See you later.